E aí, gurizada, Kawasaki na Zanga Motos, porque cava é vida.
Luke's in here. I wasn't prepared for this. Nope. We're talking about the racing, but thank you. Everybody at AMA, everybody that's been a part of my career, I appreciate that. My mom and dad, my brother. So I really appreciate it. This Hall of Fame for me, but it's for the fans and everyone that's involved. So thank you again. And now let's tune back into what's really important. These guys getting out here and going to town.
Okay, yeah, let's see who's a future Hall of Famer on this gate. 30-second card is up courtesy of Fly Racing. Jett Lawrence, by the way, was the fast qualifier this morning, your Monster Energy fast qualifier. Justin Cooper had it until the very last lap when Jett turned in the heater, and Jett has won the overall every time we've raced this track. He said it's not his favorite track. For some reason, the results seem to show it.
Well, it's important to Jett. Again, that's a good place to come and try to wrap up a championship. Justin's been fast. Number 102 is just like the temperature out here, how hot it is.
So it'd be important for him to get a good start, but here we go.
Here it is. And Jett shoots out to the front, can lead him into turn one. Cooper right behind him. And Jett Lawrence has your motosport.com whole shot. Joe Shimoda up to third, makes the move on Cooper.
All right, we got Jett, Joe, and it looks like Cooper right here. That's what we wanted. It looks like Marvin Musquin's trying to get up here to get into fourth place, but if I'm Jett Lawrence, this is a dream scenario. He's got clear track, and he's got his best friend with Shimoda on back of him, so here's the race is on.
Yeah, Marvin Musquin is back racing motocross for the first time this year. He's on a 250 because he'll represent France in the Motocross Nations on that size bike. Meanwhile, Shimoda going after Lawrence for the lead. Gonna have the inside here.
I think what you're going to watch with Joe, I think Joe's going to be really aggressive to try to get by Jett early because he knows Jett's kind of protecting his championship. So if I'm Joe, I know Jett's going to ride hard, but he's not going to ride over it. So you'll probably see an all-out sprint from Joe to get around him to get that clean air. And if he can't, then he'll go to plan B and try to work him out. So that's good. They've already separated themselves already.
Yeah, and Marvin has moved up 2/3, so welcome back to the great outdoors. Marvin Musquin of the Red Bull KTM has not raced the 250 class since 2015 and hasn't raced this series at all since last season. He's in third.
Now you see how much different this track is compared to what it was when we saw that GoPro. It's a lot drier, and it's only going to get that way. And we got to pay attention to making sure, stay in the lines. This track's going to get really hard base, and it's going to get slippery. You can already see these guys starting to spread out. So it's good so far.
Hammaker is fifth, Hunter Lawrence sixth. LeBlanc saw Drake battling it out with Marvin to the first couple corners. He shuffled back to eighth after that exchange. Boland and Tyson Johnson top 10. Go ahead.
This is going to be the best the track's going to be all day. So actually, they did a good job at not watering it too much on there. So they're trying to get the moisture into the ground. But it looks like Marvin's closing in on these guys.
Wow, so Marvin Musquin's got speed. The question is the endurance, since he has not been racing all summer. But the Frenchman, last time we actually had a championship as close as it is today between Sexton and Tomac was Marvin himself battling Jeremy Martin back in 2015. But his engine let go that day. We never really saw that showdown, but he's back on a 250 for the first time since then.
Yeah, Marvin's he's no stranger to being up front. And the way he rides, his track actually going to suit him because he's a technical rider. And as you can see, there's a lot of bumps, and there's a way to ride this Paula track and be technical. So I expect Marvin to keep closing up, and fitness might become an issue, but overall right now I think speed-wise he's feeling pretty good and knows how to ride this thing.
That was your beta drone cam showing Musquin closing up on Shimoda and Lawrence. What a nice wild card to throw into the final race of the year. Again, as he gets prepared for the Motocross of Nations, he'll be representing Team France. A couple of their other 250 options went by the wayside. They will have a new rider on that bike next year here in the U.S. Tom Viel's moving from France to the U.S. for next season, but he wants to focus on getting ready for Supercross, so he's not going to race to Nations. So they gave Marv a call instead. Shimoda, meanwhile, is still going after Lawrence. We got a nice battle on our hands.
Yeah, Marvin's trying to keep up with those guys. He knows the beginning part of the race is probably the most important for him. And I think Marvin coming into this, he knows that if fitness might not be there, he's just trying to make sure he finds the speed. And here comes Joe again attacking Jett. And I think it looks like Jett's a little bit stronger on the closer to the finish line area, and Joe closes up here. But it's good to see Joe to be this strong in the beginning part of the race.
No doubt, not letting Jett Lawrence get away as we're at the top of the elevation now and drop back down here at Fox Raceway. Musquin as Cooper. Now Hunter Lawrence has moved up to fifth.
Now, if I'm Jett, I know that Joe's going to have to make a move. Oh, another mistake right here. If I'm Jett, I know Joe's going to have to make a move around me. And what I'm saying by that is if he just stays clean, unlike what he just did right there, that it's going to make Joe have to go on the outside and get around him. So Jett's in a good position that they're good, friends, and that Joe's going to have to go around him at the point until the track breaks back in. So, you know, they're spreading out a little bit from Marvin, but Marvin's still there still.
Yeah, I remember at round one when we were here with Jeremy McGrath and Rick Johnson in the booth, and Jeremy really talked about the track working its way in for the first couple laps before he could really get aggressive.
Yeah, this track's a little bit different than it was at the first Paula, but you're exactly right. Jeremy spot on with that. It's going to have to break in, and these guys are understanding that it's 25 minutes, not 30, it's 25 minutes. So I think that's a part of the reason why you're seeing Joe really attack Jett early in the race. So the track's breaking in. They didn't throw too much water on this, so it's pretty good right now. So I think you'll see this all-out attack from all these guys right now.
So if they, with a little less water, they don't have to wait as long to go for it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain parts, like after the start, it looks like it's a little wet right there, and it's one-lined. So, and they know that if they spread out, it only makes the end of the race easier. Everyone's going to get tired. Everyone's going to overheat. So I think if I'm Joe, Jett, and Marvin, I'm trying to pull away from these guys. Unfortunately for Hunter, he's going to have to make some time up, and that's going to be pretty hard in this heat and that 25 minutes.
Yeah, here is Hunter Lawrence. See the red, that is his number 96 Honda HRC machine. He's caught Cooper. That is for fourth. Then there's Muscan on the Red Bull KTM in orange up in third. Starting to spread out just a little bit. See if Shimoda has another charge in him.
Yeah, Joe, again, he looks like he's quicker and makes a little mistake right there. He's trying pretty good, but if you look at Jett, he's going down the middle of the track. He's trying to stay pretty clean. Saving his energy is one, and I think he's putting the pressure on Joe to have to like ride out of his maybe comfort zone to try to catch him, and that's all about how he got off the gate. So Jett's doing exactly what he needs to do. He stayed clean, managing the heat, and managing the heat of Shimoda behind him too.
Here's Cooper and Hunter Lawrence battling now the Thor battle box, while Jett Lawrence and Shimoda are up ahead. Shimoda on the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and then behind him you'll have Hamaker, Folan, McAdoo, LeBlanc, and Mumford rounding out the top 10. And nothing changes yet. Hunter's getting a little bit closer to Cooper.
Yeah, I think these guys up front, like there'll be a point of this race where everybody will kind of settle down, and then you'll go to plan B if you can't get around them. And plan B is to see how each one of them is feeling and see how much this heat actually gets to them. So what you saw with Joe, he was attacking them, and now he spreads back. Two reasons. One, believe it or not, being a little bit farther away from the guy, it always feels like you got more air, and that clean air they talk about in NASCAR not being close, that does apply in motocross too. So you don't want to be eating that rough, eating that roost up in this 100-degree weather. So you see these guys doing what they did at Budds Creek in most of these races, stay back and then attack them. So it's going good so far for these guys, and Hunter looked like he's closing up a little bit on Justin, and he's going to try to get around him pretty quickly.
Cooper running that 1:02. Again, that's his Motocross of Nations team race number. I suppose that Sexton and Tomac in the 450s could have run their 3-digit numbers, but nope, they're championship day for them. They're going to stick with what has worked throughout their career. They will be in their regular colors and numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and that doesn't mean they ain't proud to be a USA and represent. It just means they're a little uptight right now. They want to keep the number 3 and 23 in there, so they'll run it in a couple weeks.
That's right. They had a little dress rehearsal yesterday, some photo shoots, and then the team left the 102 on Cooper's bike and asked, can we just use it? They said sure. So it appears as 32 on your screen. That's what the transponder feed says. The jersey is still a 32.
Now, this last lap, Jett threw down a 2:24 compared to Joe's 2:26, almost 2 seconds faster. So as this track, Jett's starting to get back in, and if I'm these guys, Jett has his title. The last thing I want, knowing his record here, is for him to get comfortable. And it looks like he's getting pretty comfortable. So if I'm Justin Cooper and Hunter Lawrence, I'm catching up to Marvin. I gotta pass him pretty quick, because I'm pretty sure with this heat and how long Marvin's been off, the fitness level might not be there right now. So you don't want to get caught up behind him and lose too much time.
And it does look like this Cooper and Hunter Lawrence battle, they are starting to close on Muscan, the veteran out of France.
Yeah, Marvin's in a tough situation because
you know, he got there, you start closing up on Joe. He's been away for a while, and when you're in this third place position and you see the guy in second pulling away, you see the guy in fourth catching you, it puts you in this awkward spot. So Marvin might start racing behind him unless he can get some lines and start closing back up and starting to race forward. So I think what you're going to start seeing, if Marvin doesn't get going, he's going to see these two guys go around him pretty quickly, because he'll start racing behind him, then forward, and these guys are going to move past him fast.
And no one able to go with them. Seth Hamaker has been in 6th, but they have pulled away a bit from him. Let's send it down to Jason Thomas at more on Musquin.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of fitness level Musquin is at, because this is basically a warm-up for the Motocross of Nations event coming up at the end of September. So it's the hottest day these guys are probably facing in a long time. So I think he's probably asking those questions of himself right now. Does he have 25+2 in him?
I actually asked Roger DeCoster, who's the racing director for that organization, and he did say, yeah, the endurance might be a question here. It's not like Marvin hasn't been riding and training at all, but it's not the same as the full-timers in this series. He was actually in Italy for a couple weeks testing the 250, and then raced or rode for the last 2 weeks to get ready for this race. He's had about 5 weeks on this bike. Oh, it's tightening up here.
Yeah, it looks like Hunter's starting to get a little impatient with Justin, and he sees his brother kind of pulling away. And the good thing for those two guys, when you look at an overall position, Hunter knows he needs to get around Joe. You know, if he wants to get to second place, so that means he has to get around Marvin and Justin in front of him. So I expect, just like he did right there, he's starting to move forward. And as a rider, that pass right there gives you so much confidence, and I expect the same thing for him to move around Marvin pretty quickly also.
Yes, we're 15 minutes to go in this moto, so you know the old-fashioned tagline here, 15 minutes you can save 15% or more on your motorcycle insurance with Geico. That is really the last championship battle alive. Technically, Jett Lawrence hasn't clinched, but he's looking good to do that. But there are only a couple of points between Hunter Lawrence and Shimoda for second, as you mentioned, James. So Hunter's got to go. He's got to try to beat Shimoda in this moto. He's got a rider between them right now. You see, if it ended like this, there'd be a 13-point gap between Hunter and Shimoda.
And the way Joe's been riding, that 13-point gap, it's unlikely unless Joe just throws it away, which he hasn't done this year. Hunter knows that, and if he's really trying to get second, you're going to see an all-out sprint, the best of Hunter. And this is probably the best he's looked in the beginning part of the race for a few weeks, so I'm sure he's excited and understanding the guys that are around him. Marvin, probably at fitness, might not be there here in a few more laps. Not saying Marvin's out of shape, but that race shape is different than being in shape. And I think what happens, to explain that a little bit better, it's not that Marvin hasn't been or he can't ride 30 minutes. It's just when you're riding at this level, you start holding your breath, and then there's so much stuff going around you that you can't emulate at home. And that's where the fitness part comes in. So it's not like he's getting tired. Things are just starting to happen quick for him, and he has to settle down and try to slow things down for him.
Hunter has caught Musquin right now with a 7-point gap before this moto began between Shimoda and Hunter for second in the series. They are both mathematically still in the title fight. Uh-oh, Musquin way off track here. There. He has to not gain an advantage. Well, he's not going to. He's going to let Hunter go by.
Yeah, he's taking a little coffee break right there. I ain't going to lie. He did the right thing. He had to let everybody by, but trust me, that little sit down, he was getting a little coffee break, a little bagel, croissant, whatever it was, and that's a little recover for him. So Marvin, he just made a mistake, run off the track, and you know, again, hopefully for him, he can settle down and see if he can hold Justin off for a little bit.
Yeah, he's still actually in fourth. The transponder didn't pick him up because he went around the finish line, but the next time we go through one of the timing loops, we'll update it again. He's fourth. Here is Cooper in fifth. Waiting for Cooper to catch fire here. He had won 2 second motos in a row at Washougal and Unadilla. That's really what put him on the Team USA squad. It's not quite been the same rider the last 2 weekends at Budds Creek and Ironman. Let's see what he has today.
Yeah, I heard the last couple of weeks Justin's been sick, and for Justin, it's all about winning or nothing. So, you know, I think he'll be all right for USA, but for sure, this is frustrating for him. He wants to be up there with those guys, but as Jett's in a different level right now, it's just riding at a different intensity, and the same thing with Joe. So, you know, you can see in Justin's demeanor that, you know, he's giving it 100%, but he's not giving 100% because he just wants to win. So for our USA, we'll be fine. But we can already kind of see him starting to squat around a little bit on there. The heat's starting to get to him.
So, yeah, you're not looking at, as we see the Thor battle box, Cooper's moto scores the last couple weeks. that's not, oh, Team USA might be in trouble here?
No, because I believe all these athletes, like, their pride's going to raise them up to a different level. And there's something about the Motocross of the Nations. You can take guys who haven't been out riding all year long, I would say that, but been racing at this level all year and put them in there, and they'll ride at a different level for the USA. And the fact that it is in at home for us, Justin's going to be fine. So I wouldn't take this as, you know, it's the end of the world, and I shouldn't, because I kind of vouch for him, so I'm being a little biased right here.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm saying this, it might look bad, so it'll be all right.
All right, yeah, you've got confidence in him. Meanwhile, Shimoda, look at the lower right, getting Jett Lawrence back in sight, down to 1.6 seconds.
Well, I mean, that's good. I think maybe Jett's starting to realize that title is right there. And Joe, I mean, these guys ride at this track during the week quite a bit, so they feel pretty comfortable. So even with Jett being good, I think he's dealing with a different Shimoda compared to what it was at the first race. So, and Joe knows that.
Marv airing out that jump there, just able to get over the top of it. And we're going to give you the motosport.com whole shot replay and show you Jett Lawrence.
Now, Jett, this is the most important part of his day right here, is getting the start. He knows right here, if he stays up and gets his whole shot, championship and all that is at his discretion right now. So he did what he needed to do, stay clean, and right now he's still leading this race, but he's got Far East Coast coming up, so.
Yeah, the ride in Japan in second continues to close. Had it down to 1.6, now it's 1.2. I venture to guess it's even less than that. Joe wants a fight here.
Yeah, he's been riding good all day. Actually, he's been riding good all year, and he's only gotten stronger. So, again, as a title, he knows where Jett is, his whole mindset. These guys are always going to race clean, but Joe knows his buddy and knows his buddy wants to clinch this thing. So, maybe he's rope-a-dope. Maybe he's pulling what Eli did Chase last weekend. I don't know, but I think, ooh, that was pretty close right there.
Yeah.
I think he's seeing what's happening, and so I think if he's going to do it, I think he's going to strike pretty quickly right now.
Yeah, big mistake going into those rollers for Jett. That could have been bad. Now, a lot of times riders will shrug that off. Do you think, because the title's not decided, that that might hang in the memory a little more, a big mistake like that?
Well, we heard Jett talk all year long, and he looks like that. He's not going to do what he did at Unadilla. And what happened last year, I think it was here or whenever.
The finale,
yeah. Finale. Throwing things away, you know, he doesn't want to put himself in a situation, because he knows this only way this title is going to get lost is he do something. So in the back of your mind, as much as you want to race for, you can only race so hard if that is your mindset, which is completely opposite of what the 450 guys. 450 guys know they got to beat Joe Shimoda if that's the other guy. So I think what you're looking at with Jett is a guy who's being ultra cautious, and Joe senses that. Like he knows. He knows that Jett pulled away, and now he's closing up, and if they slow down, Hunter's going to be there. So I expect Joe to actually get him pretty quick.
And now in a lap traffic, so that's going to make it even tougher on Jett Lawrence here, your race leader. Got Shimoda draped all over him.
Yeah, you saw Jett make that mistake, and then Joe made it right behind him. And that's what you call getting caught up and looking at the other guy. And it's easy to happen, especially when you're so close to the guys. You'll see one guy in front make a mistake and the other guy make the exact same mistake on that. It's just looking out at the other rider and seeing what he's doing.
Shimoda right there. They cleared the lappers. Now Shimoda, a big move around the outside. We're going to see if there are alternate lines on this track now.
Now, all Joe really needs to do is start what he just did, going outside. Just letting Jett know that he's there, you know, putting his pressure almost like he's going to run into him. And I think that's going to put Jett in a situation where he's going to have to decide whether how much he wants to ride Joe. So although Joe's doing these outside, he knows he won't be able to pass him, but he's doing things to let him know that I'm coming on there, and it'll make Jett either make a mistake or Jett might move over for him.
Okay, a little bit of pressure being applied. Shimoda to Lawrence. Lawrence only needs to finish 12th in this moto to win the title. Probably saying we're stretching the title a little too much since it's not really in the balance, but obviously one big mistake and this entire picture could look different. So how will Jett Lawrence play it with Shimoda right there?
Yeah, I like Joe's lines right here on this inside, because what it does, it sets him up better for this next corner. He didn't get through these rollers as good as Jett, but he's set up and it opens this next corner up, which opens this next corner up on here. So Joe has some pretty good lines. I'd say better than Jett, and the only reason he knows that is because he's behind Jett. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes around on the outside, just because he's been around, studied his line, and you know, he's seeing where Jett is fast and isn't. And here we go.
Another outside line attempt. Yeah, he's starting to get creative now. He's about half the corners using the same line as Lawrence, and the other half he's changing it up. And a lot of riders said this track's one line to do that, but he's doing the best he can with what he's been given on this racetrack.
And what that's telling Joe is that Joe's faster than Jett, even though he's not, he hasn't passed him yet. But he's going and he's outside and he's far, he's losing time, but he's still not losing time. So if I'm Joe, I know that. So these outside, again, it's more just to let Jett know that I'm trying everything. And, you know, again, maybe get Jett thinking on the outside, make a mistake and not focus what he's doing. And Joe's riding really good right now, and he's in a position where he can kind of save some energy. And here you go, another outside line. He knows he can't get Jett right here, but it's just showing Jett, I'm here.
Meanwhile, Hunter Lawrence has got it down to 4 seconds. He was a little bit quicker than Shimoda the last time around. Actually, quite a bit. Sorry, about a 7/10 quicker than either of these riders. So Hunter is not giving up on it from third. We got to get a break in here. We'll be back. Jett Lawrence trying to wrap it up today at Fox Raceway.
I can't have you just rolling your eyes at us. You got some.
Hey, where are you going? Hey. That's the giveaway bike. Hey, come on.
Hey, we're supposed to put that back in the shop.
Get off that thing.
They're supposed to be riding that thing.
That's the giveaway bike. Come on, man.
Enter to win at motorsport.com/win.
New CRF 250R. Lighter, faster, stronger. Ready to help you find your edge.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal. The sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us, the places that pull us, on the roads that unite us. Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to be the fuel that keeps you firing on all cylinders.
Big battle continues to rage. Joe Shimoda took a few shots at it against Jett Lawrence. Watching Lucas Oil Pro Motocross here on MAV TV. Lawrence is able to fend off the attack, and now Hunter Lawrence, because these two were slowing each other, has moved into the picture from third.
I haven't seen Joe do that all year long. Like, as far as the battles wise, I think that's two things. He wants to get around Jett. He knows that this can be a pretty good points gap if he can get around and Hunter gets stuck behind him. But he also knows there's only 3 minutes left in this race. So that all-out attack, Joe's feeling it, and man, he did a little friendship pass on there, and again, Jett was like, dude, what are you doing? But it's coming down. We got about 4 more laps left.
Joe just came up short on a jump there, had feet off the pegs. Let's see if Hunter can close in more. Here's the battle while we're way at break. Joe, well, he made the pass briefly at least.
Yeah, he squares Jett up right here. I think he cut the track. It was on accident, and it really wasn't cutting too much, but he checked up, he looked back, and you know, I think Joe was starting to feel these outside lines. He was starting to get into it, but look, now they're in this lap traffic. He gets into, he gets back in there and he cuts in front of Jett. Jett's looking at him like, dude, what are you doing? But all that did is bring his brother up into this battle now. So now we got 3 guys going.
Yeah, that little bit, they lost about 2 seconds in that exchange. Oh, but Hunter's getting the wrong end of it with the lap traffic, and he's going to lose that time that he gained. Muscat hanging tough in 4th. 2 minutes and 2 laps to go. Cooper, Hammaker, McAdoo, back to the outside goes Shimoda.
All right, let's see if Jett switches up and closes off this inside line from Joe, because Joe's been quick right here. And there you go. He cut that off. Joe would have had that pass done if Jett wouldn't have done that. So that's smart riding by Jett to put his bike where Joe is and slowing that down.
ETS Racing Fuels bringing you this drone cam coverage. Yeah, you picked up on that. Jett cut that inside line out of the repertoire of Shimoda. Oh, Hunter got through the lap traffic. He's right back to them now.
Yeah, these lap riders, they feeling the heat. Now Joe's going to funnel back in on this inside. That outside hasn't broken yet. So I feel like Joe's
got quite a bit of pace on Jett, but Jett's putting his bike where Joe is trying to go. So I think when these outside lines, if Joe can stay close, I think you might see a pass up in the next corner because Joe has a good outside line after this big tail top that he might be able to sneak in on Jett, but he's got to be a little bit closer than this.
Look at Hunter Lawrence. I don't know where he found that from, but he got right to the rear wheel now of Shimoda. And as you said, that might have to change the way Shimoda attacks for the lead.
Yeah, like the outside line that was here, he wouldn't be able to go there with Hunter on there. And I think Hunter knows that Joe probably is faster than his brother, so when you're in this situation, you know if the guy in second is faster than the guy in front, you're trying to do whatever you can to get the guy in second and pass him like before he gets Jett, because he knows if he does that, then the likelihood of catching Joe after that point might be a little difficult. So again, I think we got what, 3 more laps left, and you know, we might see this pass come up aggressive. Joe's been strong right here, so I think if he has a chance, I think he has it right here.
But look at Hunter using some outsides of his own. Now going to go back to the inside because Joe's been running outside here.
Here's the pass. Oh, Joe funnels back in, and that was because Hunter was right there. He sensed Joe's probably going to try to square him up right here and try to get to the inside.
Yeah! What a battle right now. Past the mechanics area. The mechanics cheering their riders on. Spectacular action.
Yeah, Joe's going to square up right here and get to him. See if he can block. He'll probably try to square him up again.
As they keep battling, let's send it to Jason Thomas. No
well, we got a
changes
heck
yet.
of a battle going on right here. I am with Jett Lawrence, mechanic Christian Ducharme. I was worried that Jett might cruise to this moto, but this is anything but that.
Oh no, he wants to go out and win today. He wants his last Xfinity National to be a 1-1, so see what he can do. Right now he's making a good job of it.
Thanks, Christian. Well, like you said, he wants to go out a winner.
As Jett always refers to him as his little mechanic, Christian there. And then you heard Cameron Camera, the mechanic for Hunter Lawrence, screaming as they went by. This is an unbelievable battle.
Yeah, and they're best friends. That's what makes it special. Here comes Hunter. If Joe doesn't be careful, like he's going to end up getting passed by Hunter, and that's going to be the race. And like Jett's just staying clean, and he's able to pull away from. So here's your battle right here between these two guys.
Hey, Hunter was 5 seconds down on these two at one point. He has done a heck of a job to get back to them. Oh, he wants the points. 7 down on Joe coming into this moto.
Yeah, well, Hunter's closed up, but I think that's been a lot because Joe's been racing Jett. And even though they still got a good pace, and even if Jett's not, if Joe's not cutting Hunter off, Jett off, he's slowing those guys down, and all that's doing is making Jett ride behind him, and that's what's really making Hunter close up. So it's not necessarily Hunter's going faster than those guys, more those guys starting to race each other, and then especially Joe being the quicker one is slowing it down for him to catch up.
Yeah, and as you mentioned also, Shimoda's taken some lines that maybe weren't the best just to try to find some running room.
Yeah, he's got, if you notice, Jett's kind of looked around a few times, and it's slowing him down. Jett's not racing forward. He's just racing to hold Joe off, and then that's what's slowing him down. But with 2 laps, 2 things are going to happen. Either Joe's going to get around him this lap, or Jett's going to end up holding on to this. He sees that 2-lap board, and you always find the energy to run out 2 laps. So I expect this to be a barn burner the next 2 laps.
Justin Cooper has gotten around Muscan to take over 4th. No changes beyond that. Back to the battle. Hunter going to grease this outside. Can he get the wheels on the inside of Shimoda? Almost.
Yeah, this is tough for Joe because he knows he has the pace, but now he can't run those lines. He's got to be offensive and defensive, and that might just open the door up for Jett to just keep this little gap. And Joe's getting done what he was doing to Jett this whole time by Hunter. So
Hunter, can he square up? Going to go from outside to inside. He went way outside this corner. Now he's going to tuck right in behind.
Yeah, and that's a 1-line section right here. So Hunter's just got to funnel back in and try to stay close to him. And the track opens back up. Oh, there you go.
Here's the move.
Yeah, see, I thought that was going to happen. And Joe squared it up and got back by him, but that was a nice pass. And you might see that for this next lap, too. It'll be interesting to see what happens if they get in this situation.
It's where Shimoda tried to get Jett Lawrence earlier. Hunter way wide around the outside. Just not quite enough. No, he stays in it.
Yeah, but Hunter's going to be on the inside, or he landed that soft stuff.
Woo. Oh, side by side to the rollers, James.
Oh, that was nice. See, what you saw was Hunter actually wheelie up into that, so he didn't drop down deep into that, and he stayed with Joe right there. So Hunter's found some good lines. He's had the luxury of seeing both of those guys' lines, and he's coming on right now.
Yeah, they're right there with Jett again. I thought Jett was going to get away while they're battling. They caught back up to him momentarily. What a race.
That's a good line.
Hunter
there
sends it and takes Shimoda down.
Oh, there's the friendship zone. See, and you was wondering if these guys were, this second place means something to them. There you go.
That's it. I mean, we know there's probably bonus money on the line for second in the series. Shimoda, I was afraid, might have been hurt. He's back up on the motorcycle at least, laboring a little bit.
Yeah, you saw that coming. You had to think, and I don't think Hunter was doing that on purpose, but as you can see, Hunter knew Joe was in the middle part of his track, and he didn't expect it, and Hunter came down there, fist bumping, all that. Actually, hand came off right there, and boom, he hit that boy pretty good right there, and Joe's trying to shrug it off. Ouch.
Hey, we theorized yesterday in our pre-race show that, especially in the Tomac Sexton situation, maybe the last round would bring out some fangs, some teeth.
Yeah.
And it just did.
Well, I mean, just pay attention to that. I mean, I would expect that for the next group of guys on there, Chase and Eli, to do the same thing. And
yeah, you said you would not be surprised.
No, I wouldn't. I'm actually a little surprised that happened in this class with the best friends, but I actually think this race ain't over. Hunter, sometimes when you knock a guy down, you just get so happy that you might, hey, I'm going to knock my brother down too, so this race ain't over.
Yeah, Hunter is right there with Jett now battling for the moto win. Shimoda did recover. He's still up in third. So Joe will make up, or Joe will lose 2 points if it ends like this. It'll be a 5-point gap for second in the series going into the final moto, unless Hunter can make up 3 more points by passing his brother.
Yeah, Hunter has been sweeping these corners, and he's got more momentum than Jett right now. Jett's kind of found into that pace, and it's hard to pick it up. So I think if Hunter can get up to him, he might be able to close down. But Jett seems like he's, like I said, that 2-lap bar comes out, and you find that starting to find some speed on there, and it looks like Jett's kind of keeping that gap. But again, this race ain't over.
That Thor battle box, Cooper is not far behind Shimoda here. That would now be the battle for third after Shimoda was taken down. And Hunter keeps charging after his brother in the other box.
Yeah, you can tell Joe looks like a little hurt right now. He's a little wounded duck right now. So I don't know. Hopefully he's just a little shook up that he got just taken out by his friend over there. But again, Hunter, he's hunting his own brother down, and he's moving forward. So Joe, hopefully he can hold off, because that's going to loom large for an overall for him if he can stay in the third place. But looks like Hunter made a mistake up there with Jett.
Yeah, so Jett stretches it back out. Final lap here of this first moto of the day at Fox Raceway. Cooper continuing to close on Shimoda. Shimoda, by the way, will race Motocross of Nations as well for Team Japan. Shimoda, Cooper, and Hunter Lawrence will be on 250s. Jett's going to race 450 there.
Yeah, you can make up a lot of time going down these hills and stuff where actually Hunter passed Joe at. You make up a lot of time if you stay up on the inside. So if Hunter has a chance, which he's still right there, like I expect him to just charge really hard in this next 2 corners and maybe try to square his brother up. But it's going to get a little tough. He kind of gets one liner right before that finish line. But Hunter's not giving up.
Nope, he's still about a second back, though. Can he get close enough to make something happen? Cooper's on the inside of Shimoda. They're side by side. Cooper, I believe, made that pass. Back to the battle for the lead in the last lap.
All right, let's see if Hunter squares him up right here and see if he can square him up again, because that's going to be his opportunity.
It's right there. It's our final stretch to the finish. Wheel to wheel. Jett looks back, and he's got the moto win over his brother.
And he's got the title. That's the most important now.
Good call. That's right. That is enough to win the title. We were concerned with the battle for the win. Justin Cooper has overhauled Shimoda for the number 3 spot.
I mean, I know Justin's disappointed to be in third place and be dropped by these guys, but overall, that's still, he has a chance to get on there. And it's probably a good thing that Joe's not going to be on the podium next to these guys, because I might be a little hot if I'm him right now.
Yeah, more ways than one. But meanwhile, you are right, James Stewart, it is over. Jett